Hey guys, Furum here, and today I will not be testing the Trion Nemesis in Asphalt 9 multiplayer. Afiq from the UERK clan has kindly provided me with this footage of his 4-star Trion Nemesis. I really wanted to make a video about this car, and since I don't even have it yet, I figured this would be a great alternative. This first race is a very close battle with a member of the pro team named Lugal, who also has a Trion Nemesis, and it's fairly close ranked. Even though I do not have the Trion, and thus I cannot tell you how it feels to drive, I'll be trying to tell you how it looks like it drives, if that makes any sense. So to start off with, the acceleration is decent. The top speed, I believe, is the second best in the game, behind the Koenigsegg Regera. However, the Trion also has the worst nitro efficiency in the entire game. This is what the nitro efficiency is like at 4 stars. You can imagine how bad it would be at lower stars, because it is not too great now. However, it drifts very well, does not lose a whole lot of speed when drifting, so that allows it to get up to higher speeds a bit quicker than in a car that might have slightly better nitro efficiency, but perhaps worse acceleration and loses more speed around turns. So Pro Lugal has crept right up behind us now, and due to the Trion's quite bad nitro efficiency, it becomes difficult to get up to speed in some cases. However, this was recorded during the Slipstream season, and this is a really good season for the Trion, because you can more easily get nitro if you are just behind somebody, and that is why I believe the Slipstream season probably helps the Trion Nemesis more than it does almost any other car. So we are right behind Lugal here. Take this corner on the side there. I have not actually done that, so that's a pretty cool trick I learned from this video. So from what I have seen with other ones in multiplayer, the Trion Nemesis seems to be one of those cars that is really good in some cases, like Himalayas, but not so great in other cases. And it is so easy to lose speed, but when you can get up to speed, it is so fast that it is just not a very consistent car, you might say, because sometimes they will do extremely well, pull ahead of everybody else, other times they will be in dead last, and I have seen both of these a lot of times. So that might be one of the Trion's biggest weaknesses, aside from its dreadfully bad nitro efficiency, just being not consistent. On tracks like Himalayas and Scotland, it is amazing. It can just fly ahead of everybody else, but on ones like Rome, not so great. So there we knocked down Lugal, who landed on top of us, but we still knock him down. Not exactly sure how that happens, but it's rather nice. We drift a bit to get up the shockwave, and then flat spin down here. Now Lugal is in our slipstream now, meaning that he is catching up quite fast. That is one problem with being a Trion in first place. You have really bad nitro efficiency, and the people that are behind you can just ride your slipstream, but we finish in first place. That is probably one of the closest races I've ever seen. I say that about a race in just about every video, don't I? In this race, we are facing an Icona, and it looks like 2 VLFs. Now, those cars have a lot lower top speed than the Trion Nemesis, and the Trion is quite good on Scotland because it is able to get up to its top speed for long stretches because of the barrel rolls and straight places after that. Places like that are where this car really excels. So on this track, Himalayas, with the mountain poles and frozen route, I believe are 2 of the best tracks for this car, and probably ones like the Regera that have really high top speed but not so great nitro efficiency, because after the big ramps and barrel rolls, they gain a bunch of speed on them and they keep their speed for a while, because there are some places with not many turns very soon after those places. So that is where this car can just get really far ahead, and I'm sure we'll see that with the Regera as well. As you can see here, we just pulled completely away from the competition and come in first place. By the way, and I usually say this on all of the videos where somebody else is doing the races, I refer to the featured car as we so as not to be confusing. I don't want to say I, because that makes it really seem like I'm driving the car, which I'm not, but I don't want to say him, because that makes it seem like I'm talking about one of the other people in the race. Those of you who have seen these kinds of videos before featuring other people know what I'm talking about, but this is just for those of you who might not have seen it before. This here is one of the best tracks for the Trion Nemesis, because after these ramps here, it can really get up to speed, but even more so at the later part in the race, after the ice cave, where there's that barrel roll and that very long straight section before the turns. That is probably the place where you will see the Trion Nemesis and Koenigsegg Regera get up to speed for a longer time than probably any other place on any other track. So from what I'm seeing in these races and other races, it looks like this Nemesis is quite a fun car to drive, but only if you get good tracks for it. That is the real problem. If you get Rome, you are going to have some problems, because around those twisty turns, you're not going to be able to get up to speed because of the bad nitro efficiency. And if you do manage to get up to speed at any part, there's always going to be a turn just a few seconds away that will probably slow you down a lot. But on tracks like Himalayas, it's amazing and can blow just about everything else away, like we see in this race. In this race, we are facing a higher ranked VLF. It's possibly at 5 stars. Now, this Trion is at technically a lower rank, but it's faster by so much. Basically, the Trion Nemesis is like the SLK SE of Asphalt 9. That's basically what it is, because it has the same bad nitro efficiency, the same high top speed, the same, well, better acceleration, I suppose, than the SLK SE, although the acceleration does get better in both cases as you upgrade the car more. And the handling, I guess, is different. But overall, I believe it's the same sort of driving experience, and you can see that the Trion is struggling here on Rome, although at places like this, where it can get up to its high speed, is where it starts to pull away a bit from those cars that have better handling and acceleration, but not so great top speed. However, as you can see, that VLF is right behind us. And keep in mind, this is a 4-star Trion Nemesis. I believe that you probably shouldn't use the Trion much in multiplayer until you at least 3-star it, because at 1 and 2 stars, its nitro efficiency is just so horrible that it would be extremely inconsistent and probably not worth trying. I mean, you can try it, but probably not worth using as a main car in the season, because you would have a whole bunch of roller coaster races, up, down, up, down, up, down. So we come in first in this race. I believe the VLF got hung up on that car at the side of the road after that turn there that was after that big flat spin. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It has caused me so many problems. Subscribe to PewDiePie. In this race, we are facing a 4,000 plus rank Porsche 918 Spyder, which is quite a good car, definitely. Even though its speed may not be the greatest, it is so good in all other aspects that it can really beat cars that have much better top speed a lot of the time. We'll have to see what happens here on Rome again, which is possibly the Trion Nemesis's worst track. Some of the US Midwest tracks are not so great for it as well, as probably are some of the Shanghai ones, possibly the San Francisco ones. Cairo is probably a pretty good track for it though, because it does have quite a few places where you can get up to speed, like that long section in the desert near the pyramid. That is, of course, if you can get up to speed before you reach that section. I can imagine that driving the Trion Nemesis requires even more momentum strategy and pre-planning with nitro and stuff than even other cars in the game. As we know, the game relies a lot on that. That's the car I was talking about, by the way. But this car probably relies on that stuff more so than almost anything else. And when I make a revised best and worst cars in each class, I will definitely put this car higher on the list, somewhere close to the Lycan probably. Because while it's super fast, it is quite a difficult car to master. But once you master it, you can do some very good stuff in it, as Afiq has definitely done. So now for our final race in the video, which is on Scotland against 2 VLFs. One of them is driven by a Legions United member, Unkindly Track 31. It was a very good events player and multiplayer player as well. Multiplayer player, that sounds weird. Because the Trion's nitro efficiency is so bad, Afiq chooses to not do the drift and shockwave thing at the beginning of this race. However, he still manages to stay ahead of the VLFs, who did do that. Now, the thing is, at the beginning of this specific variant, the Trion will probably struggle a bit, as we can see here. But once we get up to speed after that barrel, it can do quite well. And I noticed that Afiq has changed the color of his Trion to be blue in this race. It's almost purple. It's very close, but it would have been nicer if there was a little more red in it. So here we pass the VLF, flat spinning on that ramp, as I like to do as well, because going up that barrel can, well, lead to some problems of landing on your top, those of which I do not really want to deal with. So for my general review of the Trion, I'd just like to say it's definitely one of the best cars in the game if you can learn to handle it properly with really high top speed and not so great nitro efficiency. But if you can tame it and get the right tracks, it is a beast. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 and 9 content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!